The Scenic Wonders of Italy. 10 legendary villages in Italy. It is known, Italy is beautiful wherever you go. Whether you go to the mountains, the sea, the elegant lakes in the north, or picturesque Sicily at the top of the boot. In Italy, you can visit the big cities, Rome, Milan, Naples, Florence, on quick city breaks, or spend unforgettable holidays in regions like Tuscany, Puglia, or Campania. Enchanting wherever you are, Italy has an added flavor if you stray just a little into its countryside. The small villages and towns you come across on a leisurely holiday, spent driving around one region or another, will delight you and leave you with unforgettable memories. For authenticity, gastronomy, and the general charm, you may wonder where to start such a tour. The answer is simple: anywhere. And here are just 10 suggestions. 10 of the most beautiful villages in Italy that you shouldn't miss if you happen to be near them. The certification process to get on this list is long and incredibly meticulous. Following a thorough analysis of the history, traditions, artistic heritage, tourist infrastructure, and caring about the sustainability of the village in question. Once on this important list, villages automatically become national stars. Please browse through this list of villages in Italy, some larger, real towns, some smaller, and put them on your future itineraries around the peninsula. The order is random. All of them are gorgeous. 1. San Gimignano, Tuscany. Tuscany is one of Italy's leading regions, and one of its most prized gems is undoubtedly San Gimignano. The tiny village in the heart of the country's wine region is characterized by narrow streets, quiet squares, and imposing towers built in the 13th century. Originally, there were around 70, but they've crumbled throughout history. These towers, today perfect for any photographic lens, were erected to defend against raids by rival noble families in the region. San Gimignano is a wonderful place to escape for a few days while enjoying exceptional homemade pasta, Tuscan red wine, and gorgeous sunsets. Be warned, however, that in the height of the tourist season, summer, the place gets very crowded. 2. Alberobello Puglia. You can't fail to include this particular, unique village in Italy in the top list of the most beautiful Italian villages. Alberobello, a UNESCO World Heritage Village, is famous for its rustic pointed houses, called trulli. There are about 1,500 trulli in Alberobello. These bizarre constructions are made without the use of mortar and painted in almost blinding white. Many of them are available to rent, but without needing to stay here for several days, at least a stop for a few hours in Alberobello is essential. 3. Manarola, Cinque Terre. Manarola is considered the most beautiful of the 5 towns that make up the so-called Cinque Terre region of Liguria, a community developed on a cliff between the hills, where the brightly painted houses dance perpetually with the Mediterranean. Like most coastal towns in Italy, Manarola welcomes its guests with delicious cuisine and a small beach, which adds to the flirtation of the place. 4. Cefalù, Sicily. An hour's drive from Palermo, suspended between the mountains and the sea. The idyllic little town of Cefalù is a delight for any tourist eager to discover the most beautiful places in Sicily, as well as picturesque beaches, from which the sunsets are fabulous, and narrow medieval streets. Cefalù also boasts some classy restaurants and a remarkable nightlife that may make you consider a longer stay. 5. Matera Basilicata. Also known as Città dei Sassi, Matera, located in the south of Basilicata, whose capital it was from 1663 to 1806, is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site and is recognized for its beauty and uniqueness. The village is famous for its Sassi structures, a complex of houses, monasteries, and churches built in the natural caves of the Murgia, a troglodyte area covering over 1,000 hectares. Matera is one of the oldest and most beautiful villages in the whole world, with even film producers choosing it as a set for famous productions, most famously, Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. 6. Monte Isola, Lombardy. Located on the island of the same name, Monte Isola has the particularity of being set in the middle of one of the most beautiful lakes in Italy, Lake Iseo. To get to Monte Isola, you need to drive an hour and a half from Milan, then take a 20-minute ferry ride to Iseo. It's a worthwhile effort. There are some excellent trattorias, waterside cafes, charming bed and breakfasts, and a beautiful chapel, Madonna della Seriola, on the hill that surrounds the village. 7. Loco Rotondo, Puglia. A holiday by car in the Puglia region of Italy's hilly boot could bring you to, among other places, Loco Rotondo, a charming white village in this part of the country, perched softly on a hill, like neighboring Martina Franca and Sister Nino, which we also recommend for a quick visit. Loco Rotondo's countryside is dominated by Chiesa Madre San Giorgio, a cathedral whose dome and tower you can still see from the valley as you approach. Wander through Loco Rotondo's narrow streets, and if you stop for lunch, don't forget to order white wine. The local produce is excellent. 8. Spello, Umbria. If you're in Umbria and want to get away from the crowds in Assisi, head to Spello, just a 15-minute drive away, where you'll admire the excellently preserved Roman walls and quiet old churches. Spello is also known for a unique cultural event called Lì in Furet. A festival takes place in late spring or early June, and during which the walls of the buildings, especially the pavements and squares, are adorned with artistic creations of flowers and flower petals. 9. Positano, Amalfi Coast. Of course, this list could include all the towns on the Amalfi Coast, and even if they cannot be called villages in the classical sense, they could still fall into this category. The most beautiful, in the eyes of many, is Positano, which has a chic beach and numerous restaurants with tempting menus. Positano is charming, however, especially when viewed from a distance, namely from a boat out at sea, from where you can savor its beauty unfolding on the mountain, with its layers of Moorish-style houses stretching out in layers. 10. Corosella, Procida, Campania. Stretching over 2 square kilometers, Procida is the smallest island in the Bay of Naples, and tourists usually bypass it in their rush for Capri or Ischia. But if you prefer somewhere less crowded, take a ferry from Naples and stop in Procida, where the village of Corosella welcomes you. Brightly colored buildings perched above a picturesque harbor, a photographer and Instagrammer's dream. The heart of the village is Piazza Olmo, from where all the little streets lead you to the most interesting places. Climb to Terra Murata, the highest and oldest point on the island, where you'll find exciting relics and stunning views. The most beautiful landscapes in Italy, the charming Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc is for you if you love nature and breathtaking views. It is 4,808 meters high and is part of the Northwestern Alps. It is the highest mountain in Europe and lies on the border between Italy and France. This fascinating mountain receives around 15 million visitors a year, making it one of the most popular destinations, especially for mountaineers. Not surprisingly, the first ascent of this spectacular peak on 8 August 1786 gave birth to mountaineering. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.